something to keep in mind if you end up choosing a soul sucking job with a higher salary is that ironically, there's a scenario in which you end up having less money. So, like, let's say you end up choosing a job where it pays 30% more, but you absolutely hate it. You dread every single minute of that job. Well, what happens a lot of times is those people come home, they do their drinks, their ganja, whatever it is, and then eventually they realize that is not even enough to counteract the depression they experience at work. So they turn to something like spending. People who are not even materialistic, who were very responsible about spending and saving in the past, all of a sudden they're like, I need something else. So they start spending. They start buying gadgets they don't use. They start buying food they don't eat and clothes they don't wear. And before you know it, the job that was paying 30% more means you actually have less saved because you're spending 40 or 45% more now.
There may actually be something terribly wrong with you if you remember most, if not all, of your dreams. You see, the way that the brain is structured, it's actually supposed to forget your dreams when you wake up, because, tell me if I'm wrong, but it can be very hard to go about your day when you're distracted by the weird things you saw in your dreams last night. Hi, my name's Jesse Lyon. I'm a licensed counselor who can tell you what your dreams mean. There's a lot of really good research to support that those people with borderline personality, with really strong anxiety, OCD, or other kind of emotional regulation problems are more likely to remember their dreams than your average person. That's because people with very strong emotions actually have the ability to override the brain's natural forgetfulness when it wakes up. Because when you see something that's so intense and so threatening that you can't possibly forget it when you wake up, it's a huge indicator that there may be something going on with your mental health. Now, of course, don't go using this to diagnose yourself, because you may just have a really good connection with your subconscious mind and with your emotions, and that's why you see your dreams. You may have also trained yourself to remember your dreams, because those people who keep dream journals and are interested in dream work are also more likely to remember their dreams. The best way to be able to tell the difference is to pay attention to the emotions and the symbols inside of your dreams. Learn how to interpret them, learn how to uncover the hidden meaning deep within your subconscious so you can know what's actually going on in your emotional health and no longer be worried. If you want help learning how to do that, just tap follow and sign up for the emails in the bio.
If you want men to become so obsessed with you to the point where they literally stop you to tell you how beautiful you are, they genuinely see you as a goddess, so they literally worship you, give you free money out of nowhere, give you flowers, literally spoil you. You love letters every single day, because my boyfriend literally did that to me today. And I'm not joking, this is the most gate-kept secret. This girl literally commented on my live that a man just turned around and gave her $100 simply for existing. I know that sounds crazy, but when you genuinely become a goddess, men will worship you for existing. Secret is called the princess treatment formula. The girls that are using the formula know, because I literally have 100 screenshots of them saying that their man has been worshiping them overnight, that guys that were once ghosting them are now literally running back, blowing up their phone, buying them flowers. Guys they're going on dates with are literally taking them on $600 to $1,000 shopping sprees on the first date, and they haven't even kissed. The princess treatment formula makes you radiate like you are feminine, but also like you are royalty, like you're a genuine princess, and people start literally seeing you as magnetic, beautiful, literally worth $1 million. All you have to do is literally use the princess treatment formula before you go out or before you see your man. If you don't know how to feel or think like you are a feminine princess who is literally royalty, it tells you word for word exactly how you need to be thinking in that moment, how you need to be feeling, and then exactly how you should act to act like a feminine princess who is literal royalty. If you don't know what to say, it literally gives you word for word scripts to get him to give you princess treatment. He can buy you flowers, give you whatever you want, take you on super special high effort dates, make him literally spoil you and surprise you. These scripts literally put him in his masculine energy and make him chase you, which literally makes him more obsessed with you. Doing this, I kid you not, every single person will literally start seeing you as royalty. It shows you how to think, how to act, and how to speak like you are in your feminine energy and you are literal royalty. Strangers will literally start opening doors for you, giving you free things, literally treating you like a princess, giving you princess treatment. The best part is the princess treatment formula is literally on a PDF, so you just download it to your phone and you pull it out before you go on a date, you pull it out before you go to work, you pull it out when you're going to go get groceries, dreams, and it literally will transform the way everyone sees you and treats you like that. And it comes with an audio track that you just listen to. Like, I would listen to it right now on my walk. Formula works as soon as you get access to it, so if you want to get instant access, you can grab it in my bio.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years,
as a married woman who also got a psychology degree and master's as well. And I feel that in general, you should know within the first year whether or not you want to marry someone. Now, whether you take 2, 5, 10 years to get married is a whole different story. But I feel that if you are above the age 25, because by 25 your prefrontal cortex has fully formed, you have enough logical reasoning to know whether or not this is your person. And I strongly believe that anyone who is above 30 really should be aiming to get married within a year to 18 months, 2 years max. I feel that if you're above the age 30, and this is for my ladies, and you're with a man and 2 years later he still doesn't know whether he wants to marry you, you should run, because you're going to be wasting your time. And you also have to remember, you have a biological clock, right? So I'm age 35, I'm about to be 36 in a few months, and I am married, but I have realized that my biological clock is shorter than a woman who's in their 20s. I feel if you are below the age 25, you can kind of play that game of, okay, we're going to take our time. Let's get our finances in order. Let's get our career in order. You can do all that because you have time. And for the ladies, you biologically have time as well. But regardless, most people know. And any man that's trying to tell you that, oh, it takes time, we got to go with the flow, we got to figure it out, that's a man that's not clear. And most of the time he's not clear because he's not clear in himself and he's not clear in his own purpose. So when a man is not clear in their own purpose, they cannot see you, and therefore they cannot see you in their future. That's my advice on this 2-year rule. And remember, for more feminine energy and dating tips, make sure to follow me.
Would you rather have no significant other and all of your friends for the rest of your life, or none of your friends and a significant other? I saw this interview, I think it was We Met at Acme, who was interviewing people on the street in New York, and 90% of them said, I'd rather have a significant other. I really don't see the logic here. That is not to say I don't crave romantic love and it's so amazing and you learn so much about yourself, but my friends and the people who have built me since I was a little kid and who are my community, I could never live without them. And I never want to imagine a world where I don't have them, but I just have romantic love. There's no right or wrong answer, but that's just my opinion. What do you think?
So I know quite a few people in real life who are in relationships with someone that they know in their heart of hearts isn't the one. It's not their person. But they stay in these relationships because they don't want to hurt them and they don't want to break their heart. And even if they've tried breaking up with them, that person has begged and convinced them to stay. So they stick it out and they think maybe they'll have the courage to leave in the future or things will get better. And then they don't, and they never do. And if that's you, my advice is do that person a favor by giving them the opportunity to find a love that they deserve, because you know you're incapable of providing that. In other words, close the door and break it off. And also give yourself the opportunity to find a love that fulfills you and meets your needs, because the more time you spend with the wrong person, the longer it's going to take to meet the right one. Follow me for more dating advice, and good luck.
When it comes to having a boyfriend, I think there's really only 2 types of girls. The first type is type A, and she's the type that loves her boyfriend. She's like, that's my man's, my man's, my man's. And she is the type to post him all the time. Every Instagram story, there's a big tag with his name on it. They'll be getting coffee, literally could be tying his shoe, and she's like, my man, it's my man. And for captions, for his birthday, she'll be happy 4th week anniversary, and we'll write a huge caption, literally I was I didn't know that you could do footnotes in Instagram captions, but that's cool. She will go so hard. It's that type. She loves him, she loves the love, she's this is literally my soul tie lover. Or type B is the friend that's super incognito. You wouldn't even know that they had a boyfriend. For example, it was my friend's boyfriend's birthday last week. So she posted a story of him, and it was just so classic type B girls in a relationship. She posted a story of him riding a bike. He's literally, I want to say maybe 70 yards away. I literally was like, who is that? I thought it was a stop sign. And she was like, happy birthday to this cool kid. It's just like so inconspicuous. I literally was like, oh, I didn't know you were sitting again. Like, I didn't. Is this a kid that you're like babysitting? Like, I didn't even realize it was her boyfriend until I saw the tag that was in invisible ink 18,000 meters away from the photo and the text. There was a heart, but it was attached to a tree. Like, they're just like silencio about it. And honestly, I respect it, and I think I would be type B.
If you constantly have dreams in the same location over and over again, that is likely not actually a dream. So during our sleep time, which a lot of people think is dreaming, we actually will astral travel and our soul will go into different areas of the universe, different planets, different dimensions, and either go to school, perform missions, or maybe go back to places that we used to live and just hang out. So a lot of times the places that you continuously visit will either be places where you've had lives and have lived before. So that means different planets. Maybe if they were Earth lives, you're constantly in this like one pub in England and you can't get out of it. That could have been your regular in another lifetime. I also have a friend, King Cash, who was on my podcast for an astral travel episode. And he said he literally astral travels to a specific planet all the time because that's where he goes to just think and gain clarity and meditate and like vibe out when he's feeling like there's a lot going on. So if you continuously see the same location over and over again, try and write down all of the traits, describe what it is, and remember. And then when you're meditating, try and call on that location, call on your guides, and see if you can access what that place actually is and what its connection is to you.
What I wish I knew at 20 instead of 45. You are going to wish that you had been bolder. Bolder with your decisions, with what you stood for, with how freely you gave your kindness, and not accepting being treated poorly. You're going to miss out on so many genuine connections that you could have had with people just because you were not bold. So you will decide to raise strong, independent daughters, and at certain points, you will regret it. But you knew you wanted daughters who could talk back and speak their mind. But for the most part, it'll be the best parenting decision you ever made. It's not like you're going to regret at 45 the decisions you made in your life or where you ended up. You just would have had a lot more fun if you'd been a little bolder. Life and people, it's really a beautiful adventure. Aging is cool. Shit, that's hot. It's cooled off a little now, so I'll just add, when you hit around 44, you're going to start saying things to people, breaking out into song, and doing all of these things that kind of embarrass your children. But it's okay. It brings the joy. It brings the joy. It's never too late to be bold.
Have you noticed that no matter how much you love a man, if he leaves in your home alone, you automatically perk up a little bit? You kind of like settle back into yourself and you're like, this feels good. Whereas if you go on a trip and your guy's home alone or he's just kind of hanging out by himself, he gets all sad and withered. It's because you feed him with your energy. This is why I hate 50-50 rhetoric. We have wombs. We are literally creative energy. We have the ability to create life. Like, we nourish them, we help them manifest, we raise their vibration in ways that they will never be able to reciprocate. As women, we can give it to each other, which is why when you're hanging out with your girlfriends, you can kind of tell sometimes when you're like gazing into your girlfriend's eyes, we nurture each other in a way that men are never able to do for each other or us. It is so important to have a partner who makes your 3D existence super zen so that you can raise yourself in the 5D and replenish yourself as well as him. Because you will be needing to replenish yourself more often if you're living with a man. A great man will create a super comfortable life for you and allow you to reach places spiritually, mentally, emotionally that were never possible prior. But a man that doesn't see your value will feed off your energy, become more successful, have a better time manifesting things. He won't appreciate you for it, and the whole time he'll be like, well, what were you doing this entire time, when really like his success happened because of you.
I really don't see any circumstance where a woman who's under 30 who has no kids should date a guy who has kids. It just never seems to be beneficial for the woman in any way. There's just a whole lot of baggage that comes with it. It just seems like you're consciously choosing a harder life. Like, when I would think about if I were to end up with somebody with kids long term, I think about everything. Like, we're going to have to divvy up our assets eventually to share with your kids who aren't my kids. Like, that's a huge factor. There's going to be times where you are going to have to put that child first over your significant other. And of course, that would be fine if it was our kid, but it's not. So that would be tough. Some people are built to be step parents, I guess, but I just don't think that you should consciously choose that if you have an option not to.
You're not meeting my needs, but I'm scared to walk away. Since I don't think that you will walk away, I don't really worry that your needs aren't being met. Also, being there in the way that you want concerns me. What? Why? 2 reasons. I'm afraid that if I give you what you want, that you'll hold some power over me. And the other reason? It feels risky. Like maybe I could try to give you what you want, and maybe I end up doing it wrong and submitting myself to some embarrassment. So by not really trying, I can avoid these risks. Well, sure you can, but what kind of relationship would that be? One that keeps me in my familiar safe place and keeps you wanting more, inevitably leading to resentment or numbness. Doesn't that bother you? Nah. The fear of being judged and giving you power over me is much stronger. Newsflash, if you're acting out of fear, you're already being powerless.
If you're above the age of 30, I need you to start taking notes because this is important. I'm Dr. Shokina, board certified dermatologist, and let's talk about this. Your neck really matters because anyone above the age of 35 will tell you the first thing that bothers them is what their neck looks like. Number 1, drag that sunscreen down. I'm not kidding. I need it all the way down to their chest. Number 2, use retinol as many times a week as you can tolerate. You cannot put Retin-A on your neck because it will irritate and burn and drive you crazy. That's mainly because you don't have enough oil glands on your neck to support it. And number 3, treatments like microneedling, Fraxels are so great to start early on because they will help to minimize crepiness and help with collagen induction early on. These are the 3 things that you have to understand about your neck because I promise you, you will thank me.
Only do this if you genuinely want men to worship the ground that you walk on. There is no turning back once you start this because men will worship you. This is how to get princess treatment every single time from every single man, and I'm about to put you on. As someone who used to be insecure, get shit treatment from men. I thought all men were shit. I was wrong. I love men now. They treat me so well. It's the law of assumption, which states anything that you assume to be true is what your reality will reflect. The only way to change the behaviors of other people is to expect them to behave the way that you want them to behave. I'm telling you, you need to brainwash yourself into believing men have always treated you well and they always treat you well. That's it. Release this narrative that is controlling your reality about men. That men are shit, you hate men, whatever. Let go of that story once and for all. Start adopting the mindset and the belief that you attract the best men in the world. Men worship you. They treat you well. They want to impress you. Next time you're standing in front of a door with a man next to you, assume that he is going to open the door for you. And watch what happens. He will. Thousands of my students at this point who are doing my Manifest Magic workshop, which you should really grab at the top of my page, have manifested extreme princess treatment from men. You can do it too. And if you need help becoming extremely confident, irresistible, adopting the self-concept of the girl who men cannot take their eyes off of, grab the workshop at the top of my page and follow for more.
Have you ever heard of the third love theory? So hear me out. The theory goes that in everyone's life, we are destined to have 3 great loves. The first love is, well, our first love. It's puppy love. It's dramatic. It's intense. It's passionate. It's basically the Notebook. And our first love is there to introduce us to what love is. And then we have our second love. Now, our second love is really important because our second love teaches us about ourselves. And I also hate to say it, but the second love is supposedly the most painful heartbreak you'll experience. It's the sort of heartbreak that will send a girl or a guy on a solo trip backpacking around the world trying to find themselves. Your second love heartbreak is going to put you in therapy. But not to worry, because then we have our third love. And the theory goes that the third love is who we actually end up with. Our third love is there to show us the love we truly deserve. It's there to challenge us on what we believe love is. Also, your third love just creeps up on you. It's the love that happens when you were least expecting it. Your third third love is not about chasing those fiery butterflies. Your third love feels safe, secure, and peaceful. And I think the theory is true. I'm currently engaged to who I consider to be my third love. And I'm curious if you feel the same way. Or maybe you just needed to hear this right now because you're going through a hard time when it comes to matters of the heart, and you need a little motivation to know that greater things are yet to come.
I was talking to one of my guy friends recently, and he brought up his ex-girlfriend from like 5 years ago. And he says even though they broke up 5 years ago, they haven't spoken since, he still thinks about her all the time. And he is happily in the best relationship he's ever been in his life. So I asked him, why do you still think about her? He said, oh, well, every guy has that one girl that they think about no matter how happy they are, how wonderful the relationship is. And when I tell you my mind was blown, I was like, are you for real? So I started asking some of my other guy friends if they also have this one that got away that they think about all the time. And they all overwhelmingly said yes. And the thing that surprised me the most, not all of them were like ex-girlfriends or ex-partners. A lot of them were flings that these men ended very abruptly. When I tell you, I was absolutely shocked. So I started asking some of my girlfriends if they also felt this way, because I personally didn't. And most of them said like, yeah, every now and then I'll think about my ex-boyfriend or wonder how he's doing, but nothing crazy. I don't ever feel like I missed out on anything. So then my question became, if men are still thinking about these exes or these situationships that they ended abruptly, or these people that they dated for just a short amount of time 5 years later, why did they ever end the relationship in the first place? And a lot of them are currently in happy relationships or even married, and they wouldn't change it for the world. They wouldn't go back to that person, but they still constantly think about them. The one that got away. And this just doesn't make sense to me, because if I thought somebody was the one or whatever, I wouldn't have let them get away, right? And I especially wouldn't have been the one to end things. So I just don't know where that disconnect is. It's a genuine question. Like, why do men all seem to have like the one girl that they constantly think about, even if it wasn't a full relationship? What's that about? The things I would do to understand the male brain. Anyway, if you have any insight into this, let me know. Let a girl know, because it's crazy. Anyway, that's it. Gotta go. Bye.
Men get bored if you love them too much. And the only man that will stick around is the one that loves you more than you do. Bestie, stop taking dating advice from TikTok. And stop using social media as your source to find love. Because if you actually want to find a stable, healthy relationship one day, you're gonna have to stop playing games. The only man that will get bored if you love him too much is a man that's not for you. I think it's a big trend on TikTok and very popular content. The one that tells you, play hard to get and to pull away if he's acting distant and all of these games. But truly, again, if you want to find a happy, healthy relationship requires reciprocity. If someone gets bored if you love them too much, that is simply not the person for you. Because you would not get bored if someone loved you too much. And if you do, again, that's not the person for you. If you feel like you're gonna scare someone away by loving the way that you love, again, that is not the person for you. And eventually, you are going to find someone that loves you just as much as you love them, and that will not require you to take a step back when it comes to giving. If you want to find relationships like the ones that you've been praying for, what you truly have to be is yourself to the fullest potential. Love the way that you love and feel the way that you feel, and eventually you are going to find someone that matches exactly the way that you're looking to be loved and that will know how to receive your love.
Here's a great tip for increasing your elegance. Leave parties and dates, very important on dates, when you're having peak fun. Don't leave like on the downturn. And I kind of learned this from Anna Wintour when I read her autobiography. She never stays at parties more than like 45 minutes or an hour. In fact, she has like the car waiting outside for her at the allotted time, which is always like basically right when the party's still in the swing of things. The reason you want to do this is because doing this leaves people wanting more of you and not less, and it makes you kind of like a scarce commodity, which makes you more valuable to the other person. After having done this for the past few months, I honestly have to say, like, it actually increases my pleasure too. I just feel like, oh wow, that was so fun, and then I left. And I just have the memory of it being super fun. Doing this takes discipline though, so try it out and see what you think.
What's your best relationship advice?
If you're a woman and you feel like you're going to expire, there's no wall. None of that's true. The dating pool might shrink. That's fine because you only need one person. Who cares if it's smaller? You don't need to rush into anything. Please don't. I definitely rushed. The toxic ideas of expiring as a woman at 30 kind of got to me. We got married like immediately. And then I had a baby. I wanted it so bad that I pushed past the warning sign. But like there's no finish line to life. I bought a house. I've had a kid. I have an amazing job. I was married. None of that stuff changed how I value myself. But I do know that rushing into things is a recipe for disaster.